Welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Tori Champa, and as you can tell by my very ill-fitting outfit, that today is our Halloween episode. As you can see, or as I hope you can see, I'm dressed as Wreck-It Ralph from the Disney animated feature of the same name, which happens to be one of my favorite films. So today we're going to be reviewing Jackie Chan's latest feature, the Chinese Zodiac, as well as the new remake of Carrie. The first film we're going to be reviewing today is called CZ12, Chinese Zodiac, which is directed by, produced by, and stars Jackie Chan, and it's about a group of professional looters who are hired to collect 12 bronze animal heads, all of which are the animals of the Chinese Zodiac. So if you haven't heard of the Chinese Zodiac, it's really no surprise. Neither had any of us until we had to look for films to review this week. So spoiler alert, this is actually a foreign film, which is dubbed from Chinese to English. So we sort of want to put out there the fact that this one's going to be a little bit difficult because of the fact that it's a dub and it's a translation. So we're going to be as fair as possible with our review of it. The three things we're going to be reviewing with this film are the script, the acting, and the cinematography, stunt work, and CGI. The script was pretty poor, and I don't think we really lost too much in the translation. It just sort of seemed like a lot of things were going on at once, a little bit too much for the time span of the film. Along with Jackie Chan, he had 3 other looters on his team, and for the first half of the film, we didn't really know a lot about them, but all of a sudden, in the second half, it seemed as though their backstory was just being thrown at us. So the last minute was very much the tying of loose ends, which left the viewer confused as well as frustrated. It was sloppy in a way, how they had the characters connected. I don't want to give anything away, but if you see the film, you'll understand what I mean. It could have done with a lot of work with either they had to choose between expanding on the backstory and making the film longer, or just not including the backstory of these 3 minor characters. It really wasn't needed to get the premise of the film. They probably could have gone without it. It would have been a little bit more clear. The second thing we're going to be reviewing is the acting, which was very campy. I don't want to say it was bad because in the spots where it was a very upbeat mood, it flourished, it was very good. But in the scenes where Chan added a lot of more serious dialogue, there were a lot of awkward laughs in all of the wrong places. The cast, really no one stood out as a star for this film, most of them unrecognizable and no names, at least to the United States. The only character besides Chan that you may recognize is the actor Oliver Pratt, who was in 2012 with John Cusack. He was in The Big C, and he was also in Frost Nixon. The third thing we're going to review today is sort of the post-production cinematography CGI stunt work. These stunts were some of the best that I've seen in an action film. I'm not really a fan of action to begin with because the fight scenes can often look very forced, but I think out of all the ones that I've seen, this had to be the most natural looking. The CGI was definitely lacking, probably due to budget or something to that effect, but they used it scarcely throughout the entire film, so unless you were really looking for it, you really didn't notice. The cinematography as well was one of the high points of the film. There was one scene in particular where Jackie Chan is running through a garden maze and they do a bird's eye view shot. Well, it's nothing new and nothing revolutionary. It still was a nice shot to add in there. Overall, the final verdict, this is a film you can skip. This is more if you have nothing else to do on a rainy afternoon, you can watch it, but you're not really going to miss anything if you just skip it. The second film we're going to be reviewing today is Carrie, which is a remake of the 1976 film of the same name, and it's based off the Stephen King novel. It stars Julianne Moore as Carrie's mother and Chloe Grace Moretz as Carrie herself, and just like the original, it's based around the idea of a bullied high schooler and her revenge on those who bullied her. So the 3 things we're going to be reviewing today for Carrie are the acting, the script, and the makeup and costume design. The acting, especially for us, was one of the major draws, as I feel like it was for a lot of people, and it was really nice to see Julianne Moore in more of a psychotic role, which was very different from her more recent roles, such as in Don John and The Kids Are All Right. She also played someone very conservative, which also was a major change from a lot of the roles she usually plays. The star of this film, though, was definitely Chloe Grace Moretz as Carrie. She played it in a much more realistic and relatable way than the actress in the original film. The second thing we're going to be reviewing is the script. It's a little bit difficult to review just the script due to the fact that this is a remake and most of it is the same, so this is definitely more of a review on the plot. There were a couple changes that they took in this version versus the original, such as the famous prom scene. In the original, Carrie tries and basically succeeds in killing everyone, but in this one, Carrie focuses much more in on attacking those who had bullied her and saving those who had been nice to her, which made it a lot more realistic and made Carrie definitely a more likable character versus her just going on a mass murdering spree. With the script as well, the ending was very different. We don't want to give away the ending and ruin it for anyone, but you'll definitely see what we mean. But we preferred this ending from the original, definitely. The third thing we're going to be reviewing is the costume and makeup design. It was nice to really see the development of Carrie's character through that. And usually when you go into a movie, unless it's a historical or time period piece, you don't really look at the costume design, but this really drew our attention to it. It had Carrie start off dressing much more like her mother, very conservative, and toward the end, as she became more comfortable with herself, she dressed much more provocatively, which was nice to visually see her character develop and not just hear her character develop or the acting changing as she developed. This is definitely a film that you can just rent. As we said, it is a remake, so it's very similar to the original, and that's really why it got a lot of bad reviews, was a lot of people found it unnecessary. But it's definitely a good film, and if you're interested in seeing it because of Julianne Moore or Chloe Grace Moretz, then definitely rent it. So just to go over the two movies we reviewed today, Chinese Zodiac is definitely a film you can skip, while Carrie is one that if it sounds interesting to you, definitely rent it. This has been Real Talk. Thanks for watching, and have a happy and safe Halloween, because I don't know, I'll probably wreck it.